Hello, everybody. Welcome in, welcome back. Another episode of 17 and some change. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. I'm EcuDes17, here to bring you my 2 cents. um, Welcome in, everybody. I'm glad you can make it. Um, because I know you had to drive really far to get here and stuff like that. um, I guess the first thing that I'm going to mention is the fact that I am inhaling. Um, I am inhaling during this podcast. I used to try to not necessarily hide it, but kind of hide it. I used to try to um, inhale things uh, before the podcast, and then and then try to just like do the podcast and stuff like that. But I was noticing like a lot of times, like halfway through, like 30 minutes in or so, I would be like, I'm fading a little bit. So I kind of just wanted to keep that, just maintain that equilibrium throughout throughout the throughout the whole episode, so I sit on it, so to speak. You know what I mean, if you know what I mean. Um, it's kind of an opposite approach to what Joe Rogan does. Um, I mean, I am nobody to argue with Joe Rogan. My podcasts are by myself, and I get one view, two views, maybe like seven views. And Joe Rogan gets like 2 million, etc. So, but he decided he used to smoke early in his podcasting career. He would smoke like before and during and after his podcast. And then he realized that he wasn't doing as good as he thinks he could be doing. Um, he wasn't living up to his own standards, so he cut out the smoking beforehand. Now you'll still see him like smoking during the podcast here and there, especially like depending on like who he has for guests or whatever. They'll like smoke together and and chat. And I think as far as conversations are concerned, it's a non-issue. It's actually a enhancement, not a deterrent. But that's a whole different argument. I'm sure I know a lot of people would disagree with that, but it is what it is. To each their own. Um, you know, I'm sure any of y'all who have listened to me in the past, you kind of know where I stand on that and stuff like that. So we out here. It's still the cold months. It's getting colder. We're getting closer to well, December, but Thanksgiving as well. Um, I hope you guys have I don't know if I think yeah, we'll be able to touch base at least one more time prior to Thanksgiving. Yeah, I think I'll be here. I'll be making an episode, God willing, the day before Thanksgiving. So I'll save that. Maybe I'll make that like a themed episode next week. I'll actually like do some research and do like a bunch of different like fun things for Thanksgiving. I think I did with Halloween. I did an episode talking about like different horror movie icons, and like I ranked them for like who I would want to run away from and who I wouldn't want to run away from or fight or whatever. So this Thanksgiving I'll do something. Um, maybe I'll I can cook. I can kind of cook. Like I've been cooking meals for myself daily, essentially, for at least the past year. And I've developed, I think I was naturally inclined towards cooking. And because it's kind of like an art. And I'm more artistic than I am other things. But yeah, after like, I've gotten pretty good at it. Like I can make some really, um, some hits that really garner positive feedback, and dishes that I can really enjoy, you know. So I don't know, Thanksgiving, maybe I'll bring in like we'll do like a recipe, and we'll talk about kind of, I mean, we could make it, cuz that's a topic, like we can open up like the whole political thing, you know what I mean? Like because there is a political discourse to be had around the holiday itself, and so we could talk about that if we like, and a little bit of the tradition, and I'll sprinkle in some fun stuff. Um, that should be kind of cool. We could talk about family dynamics, and what it's like, you know, going to dinner with the in-laws and whatnot, or the people that we're not necessarily, we haven't been trying to see and stuff like that. So there's plenty of stuff there that we could go into, you know. So use your five use your 9 to 5 to fund your 5 to 9 until your 5 to 9 can replace your 9 to 5. Um, and so that little phrase right there kind of leads me into Bitcoin. I can talk about Bitcoin a little bit. Um, Last time I checked it, it was at like 92, which was like yesterday. And I know like it had gotten up to like 125 not too long ago. I know it's been pretty much on a free fall the past month or so, and a significant one as well. Not just like, I mean, from 125 to 90, whatever. It even dropped under 90 at one point. It dropped to like 89, got back up to like 92, and right now it's sitting at 90. Um, it just continues to, it just kind of continues to plummet, absolutely plummet. Um, but it's not the first or the second or the third or the fourth time that it's done this. Um, this meaning like a major plummet. You know, there's always that fear that it sinks and never comes back. You know, where it goes down and never comes back up. I was just thinking about the Titanic after I said that, and I met somebody today who was a fan of like ship sinkings and was like just watching a bunch of documentaries about ship sinkings and stuff like that. But I don't think that's the case with Bitcoin. Now can I, they say don't invest in something that you can't like explain. Can I explain exactly what Bitcoin is? Not entirely. Um, Not entirely. You know, um, I have a, a, a beginner's understanding. It's a uh, you go. What do you call it? What do you call it? I forget the word, but it's highly secured and blockchain. Yeah, that's the word. It's a highly secured currency locked on blockchain, and it's in the digital world. Some people say it's purely speculative, like it has no value outside of um, what the community hypes it up as. Um, but like it does cost resources to mine. Like there is a mining process which does cost resources, time particularly, and they claim it's a blockchain technology which is an unhackable technology. So it's an unhackable, undecentralized digital currency. And I don't know if that's like a beginner explanation of it, but that's pretty much the best I got. Um, I feel like it was worth investing in because it's an alternative form of currency that has hype around it. And why wouldn't you want to own a, a piece of what's being hailed as the future of currency? Um, not all your eggs, but it seems relatively wise. Um, it's extremely volatile. Maybe that's why you wouldn't want to do it. Maybe that's why it isn't wise to some. Um, I feel like it always bounces back. It doesn't. I don't think it's going anywhere uh, near disappearing. Like I don't think it's gonna disappear. Um, but fool me three times. You know, we've seen this before. Is what I'm saying. Um, and with the Bitcoin thing, I find it really funny watching the YouTube personalities, like the people on YouTube, the ones that like they monitor the market for like a living or whatever. Um, the ones that make like daily like Bitcoin videos, when they're um when they're on a slide, like just tuning into them is hysterical. Like they're trying to like calm all their people they're trying to like calm the troops, but they're like in an existential crisis at the same time. You know, I mean, Bitcoin's their livelihood. You know, and it's just it's just funny to watch like their demeanor uh change as the price changes. You know what I mean? Um, but that's that's Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys have any interesting like altcoins that you're high on. Ethereum is plummeted as well recently. But if you guys have any like altcoins that you're high on, just leave that in the comments. Let us know. You know what I mean? Be a pal. But so I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. Um, I'm kind of thinking, and you guys have the advantage because you can kind of see already like how many minutes this ended up going. But I'm kind of feeling like this might not be the longest episode in the world. Nothing good happened. Like nothing like wild happened. Like I mean, there was wild shit, but like I was looking up like all the stuff like in the past week, and it's all like stupid shit. Like it's the same shit. Like Epstein this, Epstein that. Like we get it. I've already made my point like perfectly known about that. Like the only thing that matters about Epstein is uh who were his customers. That's like the name of his customers. That's all we need to that's all that's the only thing we care about. Like who were his customers? Point blank. Um period. And then it's like bombing shit. These people bomb these people, and then those people bomb these people. I think Russia bombed the Ukraine, and then there was like Pakistan was bombing in Afghanistan, and you know, and then a hurricane hit Haiti, and like there was like different stuff, and I guess you know, Trump met with different people, but eh, the the shutdown or whatever, the whole snap situation, which we've touched on and stuff like that. So like, there wasn't really too much like news for the week to really go on. As far as like world news and politics or whatever. Um, you know, I am a philosophy brand. I might want to. I know I'm like freaking 20 episodes in or whatever, but it doesn't matter. I might want to make some kind of switch where it's like I am looking up like the biggest stories in um, philosophy or the biggest stories in like different sectors and stuff like that. Well, specifically philosophy. I gotta. Well, we are gonna talk a little bit of philosophy later on in this episode, so I mean, I guess there's that. But the next thing, is probably dead. Yeah. The next thing I did want to talk about, um, a little bit. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Shedeur Sanders. I was a huge fan of Deion Sanders, and Deion Sanders, my favorite football player. Um, and I like Shedeur. I like Shedeur as well. Um, I think I like. I I like Shador. I think he's somebody not to the T, not like everything. Yeah, but just because I'm trying to I'm trying to parse this out real quick because he is to me somebody that is worth modeling after. Um I think he's got good character. And but I want to be careful and not say, hey, you should do like everything that this young man is doing. Somebody said that in regards to Victor Wembanyama. Somebody said, I don't remember if it was a YouTube comment or if it was a sports analyst, but they said, um, watch Wembanyama closely off the court and model him, like model his behavior, like everything he does, every mindset he has. And and I thought that was kind of oh, maybe applicable for Shador. And I know he did the speeding thing, and I know he's flashy and stuff like that. Um, but I mean, like he's um he's the most responsible or heady, uh righteous non-square that you can find. Right, he's not a square like that flashiness, that speeding and stuff like that. That's just him not being like a complete like I don't want to say dork, but him not being like a completely like straight edge or whatever. Um, but I don't. That doesn't diminish like anything. Like that's sometimes it could be. I'm reading this book. It's called Originals, and they talk about outliers and people who stick out. Sometimes they're extra courageous in one aspect of their life and extra conservative in another aspect of their life. I mean, the fact that Shador always gives glory to God first and foremost and seems genuine behind that and shows toughness and courage and resiliency and patience and all these things like that definitely makes up for um and I say makes up for like it's even a flaw. Like I don't see it as a flaw to kind of be cool at the same time. You know what I mean? Nah, I think Shador's that dude. So is he the perfect role model? I don't know what a perfect role model really means, but like he is an outlier. He is special. I think he's a special individual. Um, in in today's day and age, but on the field as well. Um, whatever the it factor is, I've seen it. I've seen it in him. I saw it in at Colorado. He led some game-winning drives that and made some throws that were just, you stand in the pocket, get hit in the mouth, deliver the absolute perfect laser, like when you absolutely need to do it time and time and time again. and not hesitate one bit. Like, no, Shador's that dog. Shador's got it. He's got that it factor. Um, and even in this game in Cleveland or whatever, like, you saw flashes of that on the last drive. Like, they very easily could have came out of there with a final drive that ended in a touchdown. Um, and Some great throws on that drive, a great job avoiding some sacks and stuff like that when he absolutely had to. And no, I mean that. How different would it have been if that dude held on to the miracle catch, and then let's say they go for two and it's like a fake handoff, quarterback rollout, score the two, and then they win, and now all of a sudden Shador is that we're talking about that Shador magic and stuff like that. We saw Judy trying to break tackles all extra hard for him and stuff like that. Nah, I think he's gonna get the start this week, and he's gonna have more so than just this week. Like, I think in general, like, he's gonna have a really good career, but he's gonna get the start this week, and we'll see how it looks. Um, I'm hoping he plays really well. I'm hoping he plays super duper well to the point where, like, they don't want to bring back um Gabriel. Like, I want him, like, he takes Gabriel's job. Like, thanks for playing Sayonara. Like, and so, because I don't know, I think concussion, Gabriel will probably be B B B B B B B B B B B. Gabriel will probably be ready by next week. Um, or the week after, but probably next week. And so Shador needs to light it up. I want Shador to, like, take it and keep it and win Rookie of the Year. I want him to run the table and they win and win Rookie of the Year, and they make the playoffs at 9-8. And so that's what I want. And is that what's gonna happen? Probably not. I mean, probably not. But hey, you know, uh, stranger things have happened. Then wait, has there been stranger things that have happened than a 2-8 team winning 7 games in a row? I think that's happened. If it hasn't happened, then it's definitely happened in basketball. You know, and so we'll see. We'll see. I want to see, like, that whole team, like, with the game plan and the whole team fighting to, like, do with Shador, like, be good with Shador, like, win with Shador, for Shador, whatever. And the Raiders, they don't got their defense is actually pretty decent. Their defense is pretty decent. They got that Crosby character, and he be sacking um Max over there, and they have because they just played Dallas, and I'm pretty familiar with Dallas's squad, and Dallas wasn't just, like, carving them up and down. Like, Dak Prescott was like Dak has had way better games. Dak has had way easier outings than that. Um, but they weren't like the steel curtain. Like, they weren't impenetrable or anything like that. But I think they're an above average defense. They're not the Ravens. The Ravens have a way better defense. Um, But the Raiders' offense isn't that good, and now I want Shedeur to get a win and to look good and to make some touchdowns and to make like some throws and like I hope he's practicing right now. I mean, like I hope they're practicing. He's practicing. I know they're practicing. I know he's a hard worker. I know he does that. I know he's about that. So, um, they, we'll see. Um, and then I wanted to say like to switch a little bit to kind of switch topics now. Go to a little bit of the philosophical and humanitarian and stuff like that. And I found out the other day that we have stopped evolving. It's been essentially at least 200,000 plus years in our evolution, and we look the same as we did about 200,000 years ago. And I'm not really too thrilled with that. You know, I I could have looked into a little bit more, like why some of the explanations behind that. But maybe the first thing I thought was like, oh, is it because we're perfect? Is that what it is? Did we absolutely maximize the human? But I I'm having difficulty believing that we've achieved absolute peak perfection. I mean, it's frustrating. And I'm saying this semi tongue in cheek, but it is. I mean, I would love to. After all these years, why can't we have gills? Why can't we have gills? Why can't we have wings? And so I am disappointed in my species for not adapting these things. And all life forms, why can't we all breathe underwater and fly? you know um but yeah, I my friend was funny. He's like, oh, not my friend, my coworker. It's funny. He was like, oh, if people didn't have wings and they could fly, it would look really silly. Um, it would, especially without a cape. You know what I mean? Especially you're just like lifting, just like I don't know. It would look. um, but yeah, so we should have wings. We should have wings and be able to fly, and we should have gills and be able to breathe underwater. And yeah, I don't know how you would go about trying to evolve those things. You know, um, natural selection and whatnot. People have to start. Never mind. But yeah. Like, how many generations of people do you think it'll take to jump off buildings before like you get that one person that can like flap their arms hard enough that they like fly? Hmm? And that's the thing. That's the thing about natural selection. I'm like, how many birds had to jump out of a tree before one of them flat, like, before they grew wings? But I guess the last thing, well, the second to last thing I was gonna touch on is well, it's the last thing I'm gonna touch on, and then I'm gonna do the this day in history thing. And so I was watching something. I think it was on YouTube, but it was from the Fox channel, and it was advertising a an upcoming movie that's gonna be international and highlight I think it was 70, like 72 um, former government officials do tell all in regards to aliens. It's in regards to aliens. There's going to be a massive movie that is portrayed as basically an awakening. I've been hearing rumblings for so long these past like loud rumblings these past years about how um there's um there's more and more evidence of you know unidentified flying objects that exceed human comprehension and uh, descriptive capabilities. They vastly exceed in capability um, our most technologically advanced systems. Um, they do things that shouldn't be possible, and like this has been piling up for a while, and so they're gonna make a thing. They're gonna make a movie, an expose of sorts, and we're gonna get to hear a lot of these things. And I'm just curious, like, what does it mean? They said in the in the previews on the previews, it said, oh, like how far are we from like a president coming out and saying like, hey guys, like, yeah, there's aliens. We have been like, countries like we've been working with them for like 40 years now. Um, you know, and the guy's like, that could happen within a couple years. Like that type of announcement could happen within a few years, within a couple years. And so it's like, so what happens to our understanding of the world and our of the universe, and our place in the universe, and stuff like that, if we can definitively surmise that there are extraterrestrial beings that are smarter than us, and I was talking to somebody about it, and they were like, oh, the world will go on. Some people, they won't believe it. They'll say those are just like demons. And then some people, um, they'll be like, wow, that's wild. I knew it all along. But people will still go to work, and like life will move on. And it's like, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we humanity finds out definitively that there's aliens, and then you look out the window and like a bunch of shit's on fire, and there's like meteors falling out of the sky and stuff like that. People yelling and pulling their hair out in the street. Um, but like long term, that's wild. Like, what does that do to our, like I said, our understanding, like, and long term, like the way we philosophize, the way we, uh, what does it do to philosophy uh, as it stands? Like, our gods, our gods, are they aliens? Our ancient gods, the Zeus, were these aliens? Was Christ an alien? Or who are their gods? Are our gods their gods? Do they have gods? Do they have AI? So, like, what does their AI look like? How advanced did their AI get? You know, what do their ecosystems look like? What do their politics look like? What do their economy look like? Yeah, I mean, what if, right? What if? It's certain. It's I mean, I get that's the type of stuff that I like to think about. Like, but and you say it wouldn't really affect humanity in the short term unless like the interactions amp up. But just the idea of not being alone, that's what I'm saying. Like, how does the idea of not being alone in the universe versus being alone in the universe, like how does that change our trajectory as a species? Like, how does that mold our behavior throughout the next few centuries? You know, um, like, what does a species that knows it's not alone look like? We've only known what a species that believes itself to be the only one looks like and how they behave. So that's you know, huh? Leave your biggest question is, like, what your biggest thought or question or concern would be if you found out that aliens were definitively in existence, intelligent ones as well. So we're gonna move now. um we're gonna go to, I'm gonna say, we're gonna find today in history. And and see what that's all about. I can look at it from here. I think I did I was better off last time when I looked at it from here. So so let's go. Boo 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 boo. Oh wait. Um it says um this isn't the thing. This is something different. It says I saw a headline. It says Shedeur Sanders stakes bold claim about Browns quarterback situation before first start. And I just wanted to see what it is real quick because a lot of times like I'll do a story or whatever, like I'll talk about something on here and then like the same day like there's a development. Okay, so he's speaking. So they're making the context. I don't know. It doesn't say what the question that was asked, but they're making the context in the article to be about how the Browns have had a zillion starters. And they point out a few quotes from Shador. They said, "I would be doing a disservice to myself and a disservice to the organization if I didn't feel like I am the guy." I'm doing everything I need to prepare to be the best version of myself as possible. That's generic. I like pressure in my life. I'm just excited for everything. I feel like I'm the guy. I know I'm the guy. So, like I said earlier, hopefully he's the guy. That wasn't any groundbreaking stuff. You know what I mean? Hopefully he gets the job and the job gets the job and the touchdowns and the victories and different stuff like that. Um, boo doo boo 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 doo boo. What happened today in history? Columbus lands in Puerto Rico? Claiming it for Spain? What? 1493? Damn. For Spain? Columbus was a Spaniard. Oh, of course I knew that. But then, oh, because he made a deal with the British. He wasn't British himself. 1703, the man in the iron mask dies. How long-time prisoner of the French crown held in Bastille, and other prisons under heavy seriously died. His real identity has never been definitively confirmed. Damn, what a tragedy. In 1863, Lincoln delivers the Gettysburg Address. Uh, that was a big one. That was a big one. He redefined the Civil War in terms of liberty and equality, government of the people, by the people, for the people. That's good. That's, man, if we could do government of the people, by the people, for the people, that would be great. That would be awesome. You- It says 1942 turning point at Stalingrad begins. The Soviet Union launched Operation Uranus, a massive counteroffensive against German forces at Stalingrad. It eventually encircled the German Sixth Army and turned the tide on the Eastern Front in World War II. Operation Uranus? Really? Really? Wow. Okay. All right. 1959, the Etzel is officially killed off. Ford Motor Company announced it was discontinuing the Edsel, one of the most infamous commercial flops in automobile history. What is this Edsel thing? Wait. Oh, Edsel. Edsel. Ah, it's okay. It's just a car. It doesn't look that ugly. It looks like every other old regular Ford or whatever. Um. Ooh, I missed 1969. Okay, so I don't know why it put 69 before 59, but whatever. Apollo 12 walks on the moon. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Look, we're trying to get out to other planets too. You know what I'm saying? Charles Conrad and Alan Bean became the third and fourth humans to walk on the moon. The second successful lunar landing mission. Yeah, see, they don't tell you about Apollo 12. Um, in 1990, Minnie Vanilla loses their Grammy because they hadn't actually sung on their hit recordings. And then, oh, well, that's a terrible way to leave an episode. 2002, the oil tanker Prestige disaster. The tanker Prestige broke apart off the coast of Spain, spilling a massive amount of oil and causing serious environmental damage along the Spanish and French coast. Oh, it's not, I mean, that's pretty bad. It's called a disaster for a reason. And then I can be like, oh, well, all right, guys. So, well, on that note, I hope you have a good week. No, but really though, um, it's been real. It's always real. You know, you keep it real. I'll keep it real. And you know, have a good one. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Okay? Okay. Until next week, same time, same channel. Goodbye.